This setup isn't, it isn't very good, but it'll do for today. But like next time, I don't want a camera right in my face while I'm drawing. It's fine if it's like next to me in my face, but it can't be like in my face, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, hello, I'm the Cartooner. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be looking at a comic that I realized, unfortunately, a little too late this week, I should make a bigger video about. It's a comic I made as a kid called You're a Flippin' Stick. Yes, of course it has the wrong "you're" because I was a child and I didn't know anything. As far as I can recall, it all started because one day my mom did something. She probably said something or didn't allow me to do something that made me mad, and I was like, I am gonna show her. And I drew this comic that was like violence and swearing, and it was called You're a Flippin' Stick, because I think originally there was going to be some sort of like a twist about the guy realizing he was like a stick figure, because it was all drawn as stick figures. Not that I couldn't draw, or I didn't think I could draw 3D people or whatever, but this story in particular was about stick figures. It was a particular design choice. And then if I remember right, when I showed her, she was just kind of like, okay. Yeah, there's swearing, there's violence. Because yeah, it's not like a gotcha to have a character say like, fuck. And so now, while I have a pretty sizable collection of my art that I've made throughout my life, my comics and other just drawings and doodles and stuff, I unfortunately at some point somehow lost a lot of the original pages of You're a Flippin' Stick. So I knew that I remembered like what had happened, and there was some sort of a page that I remember where the main character's wife got murdered. And so that's how the story starts. The main character's wife, or at some point before the story starts, I guess, technically, the main character's wife gets murdered. And so then the first page is him being like, I'm gonna get revenge because this dude who killed my wife, I need revenge. It was John Wick before John Wick, because I used to be really creative. And honestly, why I say I need to make a bigger video about it is because it really is kind of buck wild. And then what I want to show right now is here's the cover for the first issue or book or whatever. You'll notice some fun details like everything by Terry Johnson, because don't be confused. Nobody else wrote this. Nobody else drew this. I want the credit. I know someone else is gonna try to take it, but nope, not gonna happen. I would also like to point out this picture of my 6th grade self, and that is what you're thinking it is, yeah. Anyway, this is the main character. Apparently his name is Dave. I don't think that's a very good name, but that's what I had written down, so whatever. There's this guy. I don't know what his name is. I'm sure it's here somewhere. And all of these pages are front and back. And here is the start of book 2, which is similarly, whoa. You know, there's no panel borders or gutters. Like I said, I do want to go into this a little further. I really want to right now, but there's just not time. So, what I would like to do, at first my thought was redraw my childhood art, and then I'm like, no. This book isn't even done yet. What if I just picked up where I left off? It'll take me a second to kind of figure it out, but honestly, the way the pacing of this book goes, or these books go, I only need to read the last couple pages, and then I just need to make sure that whatever happens is kind of just the most ridiculous buck wild that you've ever seen. While you're here, if you want to like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Also, sharing this around really helps. So anyway, here we are. Here's book 2, the cover. Because the book isn't finished yet, of course, there's not nearly as much color. I'll get to it eventually. Or it won't, because it really doesn't matter. Where did we leave off? Let's start here. I see a cat guy. This is stage 2. And he goes, rah! So much power. What the? How? And then there's I don't know what the fuck is happening. Maybe I should go back a little further. Hold on. At the start here, he's talking to this guy who's got bandages on his face or something. Okay, so yeah, by the time I was doing book 2, I had figured out how to do things like the tails on the word balloons pointing to the character who's talking. I figured out how to make things decently cohesive. Before, things would just be kind of scribbled around people, and they would just be kind of running and screaming things, and you could barely tell what's happening. But I was still smart enough to realize, here, so you can see here, so Dave is here, he's in the darkness, but this guy, he's in the light. But you can see that he's creating light with this thing by just these subtle little lines around the edges. And he says, you've started my operations. Yeah, if you're starting at panel 1 and then going to panel 2, well then your eyes are going to be me. Then your eyes are going to be on the, like, you know, they're going to be on the left edge of the frame, going towards the right. So start with that action. Start with the character turning away. Well, because basically you're reading it. I'm realizing I really need to like write these videos more, because there's stuff I want to talk about, but I need to reference other material because I just don't know how to like word it, and I know they've worded it really well in these different other books I've read. So, but basically what I'm trying to say is like you're reading time in a way. Like it's almost like the reading from right to left is like, it's like going across a timeline. So when you're in a panel, consider where your audience is probably going to be looking and draw the action kind of accordingly, I think. From what I've learned and studied and experimented with myself, that seems to be the way to go about it. Anyway, so when they come down here, he says, hey, and you just back up the camera a little bit, but we kind of know the geography now. He's back here, we're keeping those directions straight. This character with the wrap and the star in his face, apparently, he's throwing his fireball thing, a shape, a consistent kind of design shape, these kind of jaggedy, fiery things. It almost hits the guy. So then we have an action here, this is going back to my video, what are comics? Where I talk about the juxtaposition of images, and look at this, because we see him here, rumble rumble, we have these words and images combined, because I think that's important. I got a comment from my friend Mason, Mason 1 of 2. He said something along the lines of the words and pictures being two separate stories, and I very much disagree. I think it's interesting, and I've been thinking about it a lot ever since then, and I think I very much disagree. I think everything works in tandem, and that kind of goes back to that thing I was saying just now about where your eyes go when you're reading a comic, because where you're placing the words and where you're placing the images within the panels is going to kind of change how the viewer is going to experience the story. If they see a face and then read a bit of dialogue, they might interpret tone that they might not read otherwise. You know, if they read the text and then the image, and then see the image, then it just like processes just at that little bit of a different interval. Again, other people have talked about this in a much more cohesive, intelligent way, and I want to talk about them and reference them further in the future. Anyway, let's see. I wonder when the last time I even touched this was. So what I want to do is I want to finish this page, and then I want to start a new page. I don't even think I need to go back too far. All right, let's see. He says, it's time, Dave. There's a helicopter. It crashes into the building. Dave gets out. The guy's across the room. John. His name is John, apparently. Whew. Boy, was I not good at naming characters. Okay. I told you, John, I'm done fighting you. Then I'll be attacking first. Oh, but I broke a rule that I was just talking about. The direction they flipped all of a sudden when John was on this side and then Dave was on this side. I should say John was on the left, Dave was on the right. Then all of a sudden Dave was on the left and John's on the right. Not sure what happened there, but anyway, the next panel grabs him, kicks him in the face, and he goes demon mode. And then he does some sort of a hand sign because I just fucking love Naruto. Slam into a door, some sort of like an explosion. There's Dave with a water ball. On the next page, tack, 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 there's another guy, some banging, some guns. What is going? Did I miss a page? Who are all these people? I feel like I'm just not equipped to get into this. It's just, there's so much going on. I think I kind of figured out what I can do. And if you can believe this based on the other videos I've made, I was overthinking it a lot. You've taken my family, my home, you've taken over 13 years from me. Crash. I want him to be like... How is it looking worse than when I was a kid? It's because, honestly, it's because I have less confidence. I'm not committing to lines. And literally that's what you have to do. Commit to the line you're doing. He's laying there in the dirt. Holy shit, I finished another page of this book. I don't know, it's kind of weird actually to see more of this. And I don't know, I hope I do another page of this. It's super easy. 2 lines down, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines across. Yeah, there's somewhere between 12 to 15 panels per page, it seems like. And what an interesting kind of experiment. I don't know how this video will turn out, but for me, in my like headspace or whatever, I think it was really interesting to try to get back into the headspace of myself as a child at a time where I feel now in retrospect I was much more creative. I mean, looking through that just now, it might not have been super cohesive, but yeah, it was interesting. There were some ideas in there. And I want to see if, well, and if I kind of go through this comic with that kind of just like, you just can do whatever, because it honestly, it can't be worse than what I've already done. And seriously, no one is ever going to see this comic besides like people around me in my life who, I mean, they're not going to be mean to me probably. Hopefully. If you would like to see me do more stuff with my childhood art, let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I come back here every Friday at about 2 p.m. Central Time. Thanks for watching.